Hello everybody and welcome back to another unboxing review of Combat Patrol magazine from Hatchet and Partworks, issue 46. So we've got our two layer paints in this one, Stormhost Silver and Night Quest of Flesh. There they are. And look at the front, Gazgul Fracker on the artwork. So Stormhost Silver, Night Quest of Flesh and Only War. That's what we're covering today. So on opening, techniques, highlighting. So here's our illustrated guide here. Tip of the brush, use the tip of your brush where you want more precise control, for example to pick out small details. Side of brush, use side of brush to deposit paint on sharp edges, for example the sharp corners of Terminator armor. So there you go, give us a little diagram there of our small layer brush and exactly what we're going to use. So here's our step-by-step guide. Thin your paint. You may want to thin your paint so it's easier to control. If so, place some of your paint on a palette and add a drop of clean water. And there's our step-by-step guide there on exactly how to do it. So anyone wants to have a little read of that? Great tutorial. Next page. When to use the side. Use side of the brush when you are highlighting sharp edges. Load a minimum of paint onto the brush, then pass the side over the raised edge in a smooth motion. They're obviously giving you some sort of like little highlight details there by putting yellow in exactly where you want to be placing your brush, what areas you're going to be painting for the highlights. Check your models for angles of 90 degrees or less. The arm on this Terminator is a perfect example of a feature with lots of sharp edges. And there you go. So see, we've gone on to our kind of battle prep situation, and now we're going to be adding slightly more detail to our Terminators there, for example. Obviously they give you a little bit of a hazard warning there. If you use too much pressure, you will push the bristles out of the point here. The paint is released from the brush in a splodge, as shown there. So when to use the tip, they're giving us an orc boy here for their example. Use the tip of your brush when you are highlighting areas where there is no sharp angle. This includes angles slightly over 90 degrees and softer on sharper edges, like on the orc's shoulder blade right there. Also, they give it there for the Terminator captain on his cloak. Another hazard warning. Remember to keep your brush clean at all times. It will last longer if the bristles aren't clogged with dry paint. Moving on. So examples of highlighting metallic areas, like your metal bearing surfaces on your bolt guns, for example. And next one, highlighting faces. So they give us pilot witch flesh there, catching flesh, and so on. So, how to paint updates to your models. So highlighting your Space Marines, got the Infernus Marine here, and the Terminator Captain, also the Chaplain, and exactly where you're going to start putting your highlighted areas on your models. Carrying on with the Infernus Marines here, Stormhost Silver on like the edges of shoulder pads, for example, and the Chaplain there. Stormhost Silver for the Sergeant's sword. Stormhost Silver for the weapons as well. Pouches, sheaths, slings, and the book for the Terminal Librarian. And as always, it's a work in progress. And there you go. Here's how you guys are going to start looking. Carrying on, we've got the Aldari Alphas here. Calgar Blue, certain areas. Stormhost Silver, more Stormhost Silver. Night Quest of Flesh. And a work in progress there with your Aldari. Okay, brutal but cunning Gazgul Fracker there, with his boys. Gazgul Fracker leads an all-out charge straight towards enemy positions. To face the orcs in battle is to face a furious tide of aggression. Grey engines of war let out foul vapours and fumes. Earth-shaking war cries are raised, and machines of death clang unsteadily forward. Every measure of their effort and resources are dedicated to violence, destruction, and all-consuming brutality. There's a bit of a read there. Moving on. So we've got some different sort of units for the orcs. Squiggly beasts, Urge Stompers, Orc Knob and Mega Armor, and some Gretchens there. Staying bigger is better. Only war. Okay, mission, play C. The time has come to prove your worth as the greatest commander in the galaxy. All that stands between you and ultimate glory, an opposition force bent on your destruction. Destroy the enemy army and secure strategic sites littered across the battlefield while stopping your foe from doing likewise. So obviously, first stage, muster your army's mission objectives and creating the battlefield. Determine attack and defender, declare battle formations. Deploy your armies, determine first turn, resolve pre-battle rules, begin the battle, end the battle, and determine victor. Obviously we've covered victory points already as well in previous issues of the magazine. So diary combat patrol rules. When you play a game of combat patrol, you can make choices about special rules and abilities that will apply to your army during the game. You can choose between different enhancements that benefits your leader, secondary objectives for your army, you're striving to achieve stratagems for your army to use. Enhancements, secondary objectives, and stratagems. Moving on, enhancements. Here's our guide here. Like they always do in magazines, give you a bit of a scenario there. You're using the Farseer and the Orc Boss. And then secondary objectives. Again, use of victory points. And moving on. Stratagems. So there's our stratagems there. And again, the use of examples. Chaos Space Marines faction abilities. So Dark Pacts, example, Dark Pacts with the Dark Apostle there with his disciples. And last page, again, Dark Pacts tutorial with lethal hits, stain hits, and paying the price. And on our second to last page, obviously because we're on Orcs and Leagues of Voltan. And look forward to future issues, part 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, where we get our Death Copters. We're also going to be covering more highlighting and only war. And that concludes the video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye bye for now.